Hello everyone, today I'm doing another excavating video, this time for Legend, which is something that I've wanted to do for a while because there's a lot of really cool environments in that game, but it's also tying in with that talk through that I did in answer to many people's questions. Why do you hate Tomb Raider Legend so much? I don't hate Tomb Raider Legend. I used to hate Tomb Raider Legend, I don't deny that. I really passionately used to hate Tomb Raider Legend. Things change, people grow. I'm sure no doubt over the course of this video more of those views will probably come through, and why I used to be so frustrated with this game, but also in response to why do I hate Tomb Raider Legend so much. Talkthroughs are satire, they've always been satire. I have ripped the piss out of all of my favourite Tomb Raider games. If we can't laugh at ourselves, who can we laugh at? So let's dive in. So right from the start we have this really, really cool environment. And it is really cool. I really like how they've done the water, like with the little cascading ripples, and it does look nice. No denying this game is exceptionally pretty. Some really interesting geological formations going on. Like something that wouldn't look out of place in Zelda. And the birds are... they kind of remind me of the bats in Angel of Darkness. You know, we're never going to get down there to explore, but all that mist and fog, it's very nicely done. Is that rock copy and pasted? Oh, that probably came from... oh, it's the continuation of that waterfall, that's nice. So one thing to praise the game, after all of the games that came before it, it introduced the new element of action on walls, which in theory is not a bad thing. It is a new thing to the series, which is great. Adding new things, always good. I'll say this from the start though, I wish they hadn't overused it. Gripe number one. So yeah, going back to what I was saying about the water, look how cool that is. And they introduced like newer environmental hazards, like all of a sudden, oh no, the rocks are gonna break free of the little dam that's holding everything together and come down after Lara. I do like how they've changed it. It's not just one solid audio track that the classics used a lot for theirs. It's very dynamic, it changes. Like listen to the waterfall here, the river, compared to when we go near the waterfall. See, everything's got its own little feel to it. That's really nice touch. Ooh, who's this guy? He's grumpy. Now look how cool this place is. You got your swing ropes and the vines. Oh my god, that's something I need to say. Tomb Raider Legend was the first game since... I think they introduced the rope swinging in Last Revelation. And up until now, the rope swinging always sucked. But they made it really fun and way cool in this game, and I really like that. This is a beautiful waterfall, isn't it? Ah, that's cool. I never noticed the hooked ends to the poles, which I guess is supposed to be like the tongues. Ah, that's cool. Like the thing that's holding the disc is also those snake things on the wall. They've sort of carried on with the motif, which is really nice. Ah, that's cool. Look how that's all overgrown and mossy and... is it moss? Probably not. Vines of some sort. But it's good. It makes the environment look real and lived in. Oh, I really like the entrance to this temple. I think it's really cool, like covered with that cliff face. It's hidden, so I don't know, if we're looking for reasons why no one's ever discovered this tomb or temple before, is because it was slightly hidden from above and people have never explored this area on foot. Gives it a nice little reason, I guess. If we go all the way up there. Ooh, see how cool that background texture is? I really like that. It looks otherworldly. Some nice ambience going on in here as well. The spider webs. Random light sources, it's nice. I think this is where the first QuickTime event plays. Not a fan of QuickTime events at all. For the sole reason is they take away the action that Lara should be able to do herself. You should be able to make Lara do that manually. Like, the only thing it does is add a cinematic flair to these parts, and if you're gonna make it cinematic, make it a cutscene or give us full control. I love these textures. These swirly things. I'm not sure how well this is going to show up. I might have to make this really bright in editing. Oh, look at this happy little guy. He's wearing a pine cone. Also, he's kind of like a Russian doll of skeletons. Like there's those two that... Never noticed that before, but that's cool. But I guess that's what this video series is all about, is noticing new details. You know, the underwater visuals in this game are really nice. Like the way the light plays on the floor. Not sure if this... I think this was slightly present in Angel of Darkness, but they really ramped it up to 11 in this one. It's really nice. Skull in a cage. Of course, that's the one that they're debating is a skull of a monkey or a human. No idea. This game is very corridor based. Like the traps and everything happen just within the corridors between areas. And I think at some point it was mentioned that there are such long corridors with little low maintenance graphical things happening in them because the corridors were used to load the next big area. They were like the go-betweens instead of load screens. If that is complete BS, please correct me, but I remember reading that a while ago, quite a while ago now. So it's not a bad thing. I mean, if we were faced between a choice of that or a load screen, I'm sure most people would prefer to play places like this, which is cool. Oh, I really love these textures, these grim, scary, skeletal textures. Look at that, that's horrifying, I love it. So this game started to put more emphasis on 2D platforming in addition to some 3D platforming game. I'm going to leave it up to you to think if that's a cool thing or not. Personally, I didn't like it. And I think everyone's covered what they think about these ledges plenty of times over the years. We don't need to talk about those. This is cool. I've never really paid attention to this. Is this like... You know, are they like eyes, and is that like a big headdress? Like a really hench bull type person? This looks more like a Greek key. This looks like it's on the wrong side of the Atlantic. Unfortunately, I can't go further than this room in the demo version because you go through there and it tells you, congratulations, you finished the demo. So the only other part of this level that I'm able to explore is going to be at the very, very end of the game when Lara is in Bolivia Redux. I guess it's like the polar opposite of the rainy, dark city of Paris. Just a deserted little town. I think it's implied that everyone's just seen Lara coming and they've hidden, which makes no sense. If someone could translate that, that would be awesome. Concentrated extract. I would hope that that's not frog juice. Ooh, what are they selling on their stall? Okay, we have all of this fresh fruit. Which again is weird that there's no one near it. So, whenever I've... Oh God, look at me looking back to try and pull the camera back, idiot. Whenever I've thought about this area, I've just thought the fight takes place in this bit, in front of the church. Which is a very pretty church, to be honest. Very nicely built. Who's this guy? Clothes shop? Maybe. I like how the buildings look all worn and damaged, like the further down they go is all rough and nasty, and up top the paint has remained. That's a very nice touch. Who's that? That must be a person. He looks angry. Looks like a mouse person. He's seen some shit. G-Force. Magforce? Magforce. Don't know what he's doing. Waiting. Yeah, it's a nicely built little town. It's a nice little play area for Lara to shoot up. No residents around, so no one gets harmed. And there's Anaya just waiting. Oh my god, her face. What the fuck? What is going on? And her legs, she has hooves. Oh, Anaya, sweetie, what's going on? Cool, well, damn. Obviously, because Lara's razzing past everything at full speed, they don't need to put too much effort into making things look super high quality. That's why like things like the grass and the trees and everything here are, they're fine if they're in peripheral vision and you're speeding past them. You're just like, that's a tree, and you don't question it. When you look up close, it's not the best. It's like PS1 graphics, but they don't need it to look super good anyway. But it's interesting to look at. How did they put all of these things up? Because the truck has gone ahead, and yet all of a sudden there's barricades and ramps. Did the trucks go over the ramps? Like, it's made for cool driving experiences, but it is utterly nonsensical. But I mean, what makes sense in Tomb Raider, full stop, right? I really like that background. I really like it. It's got so much nice depth to it. Like, look how it blends up out of the mist. It's like when you're painting and you sort of make that sort of foggy lower part sort of coming up into the clarity of the detail of the background. It's very nice. Nicely blends in. This was one of my favourite parts of the game. I think obviously it's supposed to draw on that nostalgia of, you know, oh look, it's Lara looking more like she used to in her early days. But there's several things that I really like about this. One is the, excuse the zoom, is the grainy, nostalgia-driven, you know, past filter. It's very nice. But also the colours in this. So you've got the really dark mixed with the vibrant colours. So initially you have the greens, but then as you go further on, you get the bright red garish flares, which do awesome things to the environment. Listen to that. So nice. That's such a nice ambient track. Ooh, shivers. It's water again. It's the water drops. It's like my rain thing. It's so creepy. The catacombs. They're dead, buried in the walls. You can still see their hair and their decoration. And I went to a place in Sicily where they had a similar sort of thing. Real life, not in a game. They just had relics bodies chained to the walls. Inside, I think it was like a catacomb under a church on top of a mountain, and it creeped the hell out of me. Probably about 14. I was like, nope, I don't like this. I really don't like this. Like, their jaws had fallen open. Have you seen The Mummy? You know, like his jaw has fallen open. It was like that. Oosh. I was like, Mum, Dad, I want to wait outside. I will see you later. Obviously, I don't have Lara's courage when it comes to things like that. She looks a bit unbothered, doesn't she? She's got a nice little bracelet. Okay, so here. This is really cool. I always love the stalactites in this room. But the thing to note in this room is this Sarah? Is this what she called her? Like, what did the smoke monster do to her? Removed polygons and textures from her face. He really messed her up. Oh, look, it's the same skulls from Bolivia. So maybe they are people. Maybe they are people. I mean, there's. I'm only basing that on the fact that there's obviously a load of corpses of people lying around. You have a better idea? I do like seeing what it does in cutscenes and how they've skipped bits of animation. She's not even holding the stone. The stone is literally on the floor. She doesn't have the stone. Oh, this changes everything. But I do like the design on this wall. I do like it. Bum ba dum bum. Ah, she's fine. I really like the overhanging cliffs. Not that this is really hiding anything, because it was already, you know, just looked like a pit of mud anyway. I know that there is a model, a Lara model, that they buried quite literally in the sand here somewhere. Don't know if it's visible. Maybe wireframe? Is there a way of doing wireframe? No. Okay, so there doesn't seem to be a way of seeing the wireframe, but I know that an older version of the Lara model based on Angel of Darkness is buried here somewhere, which at one point a lot of people took very personally, in a sort of symbolic way, that they had killed Lara and buried her. Yikes. People take change, especially when it's not in their control, they take it very hard. After so many years of having something a certain way, to see it suddenly changed is never going to be easy for people unless you are super adaptive, super immediately. And this isn't just people who loved Cause games. This is, in general, this is just how people behave. You know, if they grew up with Cause games and then suddenly this came along and everything changed, they're like, what the hell? You know, where's the Tomb Raider I grew up with? Versus people who grew up with the Legend Anniversary Underworld trilogy, thinking, this is how Tomb Raider is, this is what Tomb Raider is, and then all of a sudden it changes and it gets rebooted, and then it's a survival horror game. And then they're like, what the hell, this isn't Tomb Raider. It's more than likely going to happen again with whatever happens in the next game. If it's a brand new era of Tomb Raider, if it's a brand new storyline, because it's pretty much going to have to be, if they're incorporating things from the past. I've rambled on enough in the past about how their variations of what happens to her parents has basically screwed them over, because now they have to pick and choose which is the right thing, and someone's going to get upset about it. But again, the people who grew up and are immensely fond and attached to the reboot series and its story, quite possibly going to be very angry at the next, whatever comes next. Just because it's different and new. So this is a very, very cool underwater puzzle. Obviously this is where we saw Amanda last. All those rocks have moved somehow. I guess this is implying this is how Amanda got out somewhere. Or maybe she... Ooh, maybe Amanda escaped up here. Ah, now this is a very famous symbol. The double-headed serpent. It's a nice touch, you know, the constant motif of the serpent going through a lot of this game. And then obviously having the big serpent in England, of all places. Why not, I suppose. Continuing what I was saying about the snake theme and the serpent theme. Do they look familiar? Because that is definitely the same sort of serpent as in England. 100%. Nice bit of foreshadowing. I should probably talk about Lara at some point as well. I like how the environment reacts to her. By which I mean like the water effects, you know, splashing off her, which is a really nice touch. And I do like her model. Like, back then it used to bug me because everything about the game used to bug me, but objectively it's a very cool Lara Croft model. It's like accentuates all of those things, like the long legs and the shape and the figure and everything. So I love this room. I really love this room, not only for the really chill, cool ambience, but also the things that are in it. Again, that should not have been a QuickTime event. Like, look at that and then think of Wrath of the Beast in Angel of Darkness. Think of the things that we could have done, that we should still be able to do, but now we can't because cinematics. Make it a flipping cutscene. But really cool things about this room, how it's all falling apart and the vegetation is bursting through. Beautiful touch. Beautiful. I really like the lighting. Like how everything is sort of pouring in from above and there's like leaves falling down from above. It's really nice. Really, really nice ambience here. So we go over here. Again, you see the snakes. They're definitely the same sort of snakes that we see in England. It's like the resemblance of this thing to Anubis is definitely not coincidental. I mean, it's sort of god of the dead, dog of the dead, staring at a tomb. I think it's just symbolic. It's a nice thing. I'm not sure, to be honest. I haven't looked into Peruvian mythology or whether or not there's some sort of dog deity guardian thing. So I really like, you know, this purple light that starts flooding in, which they've done. I think there's like a purple gemstone or something, or its eyes are purple, and it's just, you know, it's given that extra bit of color to this really grey environment. And if you've seen any of my videos in the past, you know how much of a stickler I am for lighting and nice colours. Because objectively, nice textures, nice design, much more visually interesting. When you have that extra bit of colour, this spooky, mysterious thing, you know, it adds so much to an environment, and I wish they would do that more. I really wish they would do that more. And Lara talks about Tanupa, you know, the guardian, the one with the mysterious sword or staff. You know, people, I think within the Arthurian myth, she refers to this as being Merlin. And because the entire game is about this monomyth and, you know, the big overriding stories that all date back to one big story in the past, and then what happens in Anniversary, I've never not thought that, you know, this Merlin figure, this Tanupa, this guardian who goes around, you know, protecting these immensely important historical figures with their magic sword or staff, and then eventually ends up sealing them inside crystals, you know, case in point. There's only one other person that we know in the entirety of this story who can actually do that to people, and that is Tihocan, who is missing from his tomb. So I don't know what happened in terms of that story, because that lined up so nicely. You know, how later we see that he's missing, and you can piece two and two together to assume that an Atlantean at least has done this, and then it's never mentioned again. never mentioned again. Lara doesn't even question it. But I love this area, this like the cobwebs and the darkness. The purple light that shines inside here is just beautiful. Let me even lock the camera here for a second. Because, yeah, we're gonna get, look at that. It's like a Final Fantasy spell. Oh my god, that's so cool. Like, amazing, amazing outfit. And then of course we have, upon her headdress, a very familiar figure. Now I do wonder what her connection was to the smoke monster. Like, was he just her guardian? Was this her symbol? Did she control him at one point? So, to Japan. This whole party room is so fun. It's full of clones. Like the really over-the-top, silly sort of, look, there's a river running under the floor where there's loads of electrics. It just looks so cooler, doesn't it? They don't so much look like beer as they do bottles of ketchup. Just random bottles of ketchup on the side. I know it's probably beer, but still. I love the wallpaper as well. I wonder if we can get into Nishimura-san's office. I love the old Japanese artwork on the wall as well. I think that's beautiful. Yay, we can. So he has a very nice office. I love that sort of arched window at the end. How all the lighting is like from those, I don't know, spotlights. They remind me of the ones in Resident Evil, the first one, the room with the paintings and the crows. So I always think of when I see lights like that. The same books, obviously. But yeah, I wonder what these are. I'm gonna leave that up for a second. If anyone who knows katakana, hiragana, whichever alphabet this is, if they could translate, that'd be really cool, so we know what's going on. Oh, beautiful, look at that. That is so nice. There's a backlight behind the sofa that lights up the wall. Oh, that's gorgeous. Is there even a light? Nah, it's just a light source. Oh, I love that. That is... Oh, the bonsais. This flipping beautiful room, isn't it? There's a fancy lamp. What's on his computer screen? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Then we have himself, who's looking very excited at the prospect of seeing Miss Croft. Oh, look at these plant pots. These are nice. This is like painted rope. Very nice. This room also has some really nice reflections. Like on the floor, everything, all those little lights are just bounced back up. I wonder... It's the same. It's like in Angel of Darkness when we had those really, really cool reflections, you know, in that big green corridor that goes into the Hall of Seasons. If you go under the floor, what looks like a reflection isn't actually a reflection. It's a very nifty trick by which the floor is semi-transparent and underneath you have a flipped version of the map. So look, you have there, but it's the same underneath, but just flipped. How cool is that? I love seeing stuff like that. So the outside on the roof is pretty cool. We can see a lot of things, like basically just a lot of adverts. What is that? Lovely? Not sure. But yeah, there's this is a very streamlined version of Tokyo. This is, if you look up some pictures online, it's like everything is just lined with like massive lights and it looks incredible. So this looks very streamlined, but obviously it's still a really, really cool environment map. It's such a busy one as well. I mean, there's a lot going on. You have the traffic moving down below, even as far back in the distance. And then you have that really cool background map, the rest of the city. You can see into the buildings opposite, which are all the same, but just with different lightings. I think they're supposed to be shelves or reflections of the buildings opposite. Could be either. Weirdly broken bridge in a bizarre high-tech throwback to Tomb Raider 1 in the Lost Valley. It's just a bridge. Not really sure what it's for though, to be honest. Now this is really damn cool. It's so pretty, and you have these beautiful, is it supposed to be sakura? The cherry blossom? Gorgeous. The greens and the moody lighting and the trees. I love these lamps as well, very authentic. If I come over here, if I lock the camera, I want to see what the movement is like in this area. Oh, there's puppers. Oh, look at him. Look at his snarky face, he's like. So you have the office room. Some interesting paintings on the wall. I like them. No idea what this is supposed to be in general, but I like it. Look how retro. When was this set? It was 2006, what was going on? I think the first iMac, the first proper big flat screen sort of thing came out. 2006, 2007? So everyone was still using these big box monitors. Oh my god, remember these? Remember these, he says, aging himself by decades. Stocks. But I guess everyone has already been told that Lara is on her way. So you have these normal... Are they security, or are they... That's not how you hold a grenade. Oh my god, that's dangerous. He's just asking for it, isn't he? I do like their texture models though. They look like really cool built-up enemies. Like, compared to the guys earlier in Peru with their big armor. Look how much more detailed these guys are. He's holding a grenade stupid as well. Idiots. Absolute idiots. Wonder if they're just office workers. Just like, you know, paid overtime to pick up guns. It's an army of clones. Okay, so you have here obviously a Takamoto logo. Again, if anyone could try and translate some of that, especially the red writing across the bottom, that'd be really cool. So the private museum art gallery. There are some really nice things in here. Like, that is awesome. How flipping cool is that? Oh, I love that. He has interesting taste. Very eclectic. Really cool sculptures. Like, I'd venture a guess that the designers had a lot of, well, either a lot of fun or an absolute ball ache designing things like this in 3D. I wouldn't even know where to start, to be honest. I love this chandelier. I think it's one of the absolute coolest things. Look how colourful and spiky and cool it is. And if I'm not mistaken, it utterly shatters if Lara shoots at it. Oh, that's beautiful double door. Fuji in the background. So I also love the rug on the wooden floor. Interesting as well that it's that sort of, again, the Greek key motif that we saw back in the tomb in Peru. I guess it's just a simple design that they've run with. I don't think there's anything conspiratorial to say about this, like, oh, they've chosen this because it symbolizes that Takamoto went to that tomb in Peru and he knew. Yeah. Ah, yes, the dragon. How cool is this? We think if I was in a boardroom meeting there, I would not want to sit underneath that thing just in case anyway. Yeah, I'll go sit over here. You guys have your meeting. Oof. Oh, now these are cool. Nice little sculptures. Oh, these are cool. So in this final fight area here, some really cool things. So in this final fight area here, we have some really cool little details. I love these sculptures. I think they're really cool. It's like some of his, maybe it's his favourite ones. But then these things, these always remind me, even though I think they're supposed to be Japanese, they always remind me of, at least shape-wise, the giant sculptures that surround the dais at the end of the game back in Bolivia. I'm just not sure what this room is supposed to be. I do like how there's inexplicably like a galaxy under the floor as well. It's very pretty. It's just for show and effect, isn't it? Again, you have that reflection, as above, so below type thing. But yeah, it's a big domed glass room. Just not sure what its actual purpose is, other than a boss fight, but unless Takamoto is someone who frequently brings people up here to smack them about with his sword. Phrasing. Interesting as well, his tattoos, the twin serpents, again mimicking what we saw earlier in the game. And I wonder if that's just coincidence. What about his back? What does his back look like? Ah, it's the same on the back. Okay, twin serpents. What was he up to? The ambience and the lighting just of this very start area is so pretty. Again, it's just a tiny little corridor with nothing to do in it other than run through. But look at it. It's very, very, very pretty. These sort of vines that you can't really see from all angles. But it adds a nice little 3D effect to the walls. Inexplicable light beam. But yeah, then we have, of course, the massive waterfall, which is just spectacular. I mean, this in itself is just one of the coolest environments in all of Tomb Raider. If anyone's listened this far, I'm just picturing people being like, but you hate Tomb Raider Legend. Why are you praising it so much? I don't hate Tomb Raider Legend. It has some very, very cool things about it. Unfortunately, it just has a lot of things that bug the hell out of me. But the visuals are not one of them. Look at that. Oof. And then once we've turned the waterfall off, you have this enormous, stunning, again, serpent-themed temple hidden behind it. It's absolutely cool. What happens up here, actually? Oh. Somehow the waterfall has just, like, the entire river behind the waterfall has just vanished. But isn't it cool? Like this cobra theme this time. Really nice. Ooh, and down here, look, the way that the water is almost finished flowing down, but it's sort of trickling, like the remnants of the water is very slowly coming down now. That's a very nice touch. This little face. Oh, look at these. These are so nice. Just the hanging vines. The cracked textures. See, there's some really nice lighting going on here, and it's not just from these like rainbow rays, but also the way that things like this on the outside of the temple are lit up compared to things on the inside are shaded and shadowy. It's very nice. You have these awesome little droplets that are just coming off the remnants of what was absolutely soaking a minute ago, and it's just, oh, it's very cool, isn't it? Wow. Lovely, really lovely details here. Interesting little connection that I'm sure is entirely coincidental. Giant scorpions. And the last time that Lara came to an African country in the Tomb Raider series was in the last Revelation, and in the last few levels of that you had giant scorpions. Now this is a stunning room, look at that. Flooded corridor, the water flowing in different directions. Like it's broken out of a hole in the wall. Again, you have the vines, but it's also mixed with the cobwebs, the light rays. Really nicely coloured room. Nice lighting effects here. How it's from the flame is scattering the light on the walls and moving shadows around. It's not moving Lara's, but can't have everything. Again, cool traps. Simple traps. Reserved for corridors. It's like it's possibly to make the journeys between the big areas more interesting. You have these long corridors that take you a time to get through while the next place loads. So now this is another really nice looking room. The waterfall connected to that wheel puzzle that I think was in the alpha build trailer or whatever. And they kept this for the final game, and I'm glad they did because it looks really nice. Some very nice lighting in here. The darker colours and the green mixed in with the sort of yellowy orange and the warmth. And look at that. Cool, that's nice. Even the torches on the wall, like sort of either claws or fangs. Giant snake again. Considering this appears, at least from the outside, to be a big sort of serpent temple, it's a shame that we didn't get to fight a big snake here. Real vibes of the Angelina Jolie film, you know, when she gets to that first big temple and the goons are already like pulling it apart, and I don't know, it just reminds me of that with the bad guys everywhere. Now then, this is a big room. Again, action reserved for the outsides of the room rather than through the middle, which seems to be a big theme throughout, at least this and the next game. And I don't know, I wish I knew the thinking behind that versus 3D action platforming. Wool stuff, wool stuff, wool stuff. Beautiful textures. Some nice lighting. Bit drab, but not a bad room, not a bad room at all. Yeah, and that's so cool, isn't it, how the water pours in and then cascades off things, and it, I don't know, it makes like a fringe of water coming down in different directions. It's nicely designed. Now this, I think, is my favourite room in the Ghana level. It just looks really cool, doesn't it, with like the broken bridge, light beams pouring in, the water coming all the way down. It's this huge sinkhole. Yeah, I just like it. I like how, you know, it's not just a straightforward waterfall, it's coming along a river. They've actually split it off just for effect, just to make it look cool. So that, I guess Lara has something to swing through. It looks like a very modern irrigation system for an ancient temple, doesn't it? Maybe it's not as old as we think. And this room, look at this. Oh, no, oh, no, look how messed up it is. The Anaya of cats. Oh. But the room in general, again, very nice with the little details and the ruined and how the water falls through the room. I think visually, I think that's one of the biggest strengths of this game, is the effect that water has on the environment. That it's never just straightforwards, it's never just a river or a stream full stop. It has damaged the environment somehow. And that is really cool. That's a very, very nice design choice. Okay, again, twin serpent we keep seeing this same thing over and over again. 2 serpents, 2 snakes. And then we only fight 1, and now I'm wondering if at any point it was decided if there was going to be 2 big serpents in this game and they had to cut one of them maybe? I don't think I've ever read anything about this, but it strikes me as odd that we have all of this serpent snake symbolism throughout the game, 2 of them, but only ever meet 1. Interesting. It just makes me laugh how much he just reminds me of Jeff Goldblum. It's just ridiculous.
Ready for this?
Oh my God, it's so annoying. So this room, again, cobra, serpent, snake imagery. Yeah, this is quite nice. Like the sunbeams coming in. Oh, the walls looking like scales on a snake. Interesting. That cutscene where Lara's razzing around in Ghana is just a loop. It's just one long path that she keeps going round and round. It's clever. I was honestly never fond of this level, but that could just be because it's industrial and snowy, and 2 of my least favourite types of levels. One of the reasons why I was really not fussed about a lot of places in Rise of the Tomb Raider. It's a personal preference thing. Well made, just meh. Give me a lush jungle over snowy, metallic places any day. Okay, so is there cool things in here? Random stuff on there. Here we go. Just maps, okay. Oh, I thought there were more. Okay, CCTV of outside. Moo. Important cow business. Blueprints. Satellite dishes. Satellite dishes? Maybe. Now I love these electric effects. I really like the electric effects. Oof. Oh my God. Maybe Fluffy did this to him as well. Removed the polygons and the textures in his face and left him for dead. Cool, this reminds me of that room in Angel of Darkness where Curtis fights the Proto, and you've got all those cool, like, really intricate, detailed pipes under the floor. That's nice. I like how it goes through the floor and up into the wall. Like they've really built up these, even though it's not exactly the most traditional of Tomb Raider environments. It's well detailed and yeah, it's cool. And it's a nicely built room. They have a convenient habit of placing all their boss fights in big arenas, don't they? No one ever fights you in a corridor. Very nice, nice looking electric. If anyone knows what that says. Could be quite interesting. Might just be the name of the machine. It's a cool device. It's kind of like the end of Angel of Darkness. Did Eckhart build that machine himself? Nice looking details on this. Look how crisp these are. Oh, I like the detail that it's like the glass is shattered. Maybe it's like so overpowered that it's smashed the glass on it in the past. So King Arthur's Tomb, or the Cornwall level. So you start off in this abandoned theme park type place. I don't think it actually is a theme park. I mean, there's no rides. Serpents again, obviously foreshadowing what's gonna happen in this level. I'm a sucker for those rainy environments. It's just really nice. And I like how the reflection, again, works on the floor there. Oof, shivers. They have done a really good job of making this look like an utter wreck. And it's good as well that they've made Excalibur look like just a sort of regular sword rather than, you know, this mythological artifact that Lara is now hunting down. I suppose mostly because, you know, if you ask anyone to draw a picture of Excalibur, they're more than likely just going to draw a typical, maybe shinier, cool looking sword, but it's still going to look like a sword. Whereas what Lara finds, you know, it's like this myth of the sword in the stone, but is it a sword? We know it's a key. Was it more intended to be a staff, or who knows? Now this is a cool room. It is a cool room, but you already know what I'm going to say. Again, awesome, huge environment, action placed around the outsides of the room rather than through the center. Like it works within the context of the game, within the context of the environment. It's a stairwell. One of my biggest criticisms about the game is that I don't think they've utilized space enough. They've used space to amplify the size of areas, certainly, but I think at the expense of a lot of potential platforming action. It's really cool seeing all these like hidey holes in the walls, and I guess they were crypts, you know, coffins and bodies buried in the walls. Really cool concept. Dark. It's like I can turn the voices off, but I don't think I can turn the subtitles off, and it's just impeding on the footage because they won't shut up. I've always loved the look of this horrible looking liquid. This acidy, fiery, I don't know, it's supposed to be like petrol or something for some reason. But it's like really colourful and it looks glittery. I really like that. If I'm not mistaken, this is one of the places that Lara gets to first, before anyone that she's fighting against. I like how this mimics, you know, it's like a different culture, but it's mimicking what we saw in Peru and Bolivia and in Ghana as well, like these religious symbols, the icons on the walls. Again, with all of the Tomb Raider games, every single one of them, who lit these torches? Who lit them? Is it Greek fire? Have they always been burning? I do like that waterfall just there, with the stalagmites and stalactites coming out of it. It's just, it looks really old, and I was gonna say, I don't know why they would have built it like that, but Tomb Raider logic, why not? These always confused me, and I'm not sure what their purpose was, if they were just like prison cages for people. Because I don't think they built it specifically to bonk the snake on the head with. But this is a very, very cool tomb. Huge castle underground. Love the details on these windows. That is so nice. Ah, the intricate little swirls and everything is very cool. And I love the lighting as well, how it's sort of ethereally bluey, greeny, teal mixed with the light yellowy greens over here. It's like the room goes up in a nice gradient of colours. And then of course inside, bam, we have the king himself. Again, trapped inside an egg, big crystal egg that Lara doesn't question. There he is, the man himself. There, that big metal sheet is the blade of what he used for Excalibur. Like, are we to believe that he only used the hilt, the handle? Which is a very cool concept. It's kind of like Takamoto, he added the tip of the sword onto a long staff to use it, and here we have King Arthur, who's used the hilt of the sword as the hilt of an actual sword. Always like this dais stone circle design. I think it's really cool. And you have all of the Celtic names of the people, or some of the older ones anyway. You've got like Myrddin and Gwynhafar. But there is some really nice lighting going on here again. It's the yellows and the greens. Very cool. But I do like that they've named everyone. Now that's an interesting design. It's a person holding a big sphere. I've never noticed that. Well, that's supposed to be. Am I forgetting something? What is that? Anyone know? Their chains do look nice, don't they? They've made the chains look very cool. Of course, I can't really leave this room without mentioning the elephant in the room. Where are we? Oh look, really cool runes on the wall. What is it? It's Crystal Dynamics rules backwards. And of course right there we have unquestionably the same serpent that's been present in the imagery, at least in the Peruvian tomb. How did it get to England? And why is there only one of them? I maintain that there should have been two. Maybe originally we were going to be like two here? It's messy, isn't he? Oh, look, it just vanishes into the gloom. Is it like a lionfish or a scorpionfish with all that sort of frilly thing going on with it? Imagine if we'd have had two, one on either side, and they started snapping at each other. That would have been really cool. Yeah, I kind of wish we'd had more bits like this. Even in Underworld, I don't think there were like bosses in Underworld, were there? There was like some difficult fights, but nothing like this. So Nepal is considered, I think, a fan favourite level. And it is really nice. And that's coming from someone who really doesn't like snow levels. There's a lot of very nice little details throughout this level. Also, I like how shiny the snow is in the ice. It just looks nice, you know? But stuff like this, I don't know, it's got a Barkhang monastery feel to it. I quite like. Also, I do enjoy the fact that you can hop between icicles. It's quite a nice touch. Can you imagine in real life, honestly, if you tried to go over one of those, you would slide off that so fast. I do like the look of that. I don't even know what it... Snowy, icy maze? It's kind of like the airborne Maria Doria. Parts of it are upside down and lodged inside rock. Other parts are the right way up and further away. Like, did it come from this direction and slam into the rock and then break apart? Like, seriously, how did anyone survive this? You know, as much as I gripe about some things, one of the other things that this game I feel does really well is mix man-made with natural environments and sort of brings them together, mixing the two of them into one. And sort of has Lara seamlessly moving between the two. It is very well done. I'll give it that. So in the plane itself, we should have the we should have the Galali key on the windowsill or on the dashboard, because why not? But it's not there. But you can still see, obviously, the sofa where they were talking about Yetis, and then the chair where Amelia sat, and then the chair where Lara sat, and inexplicably the windows have vanished. But the furniture looks old and dirty and grimy and like it's rotting now. I like stuff like this where you see everything is like literally frozen over it, so you can see a hint of the temple inside this like wall of ice. And that's such a cool detail. It's really, really cool detail. The design is well, it looks Celtic, which kind of fits with the entire theme of the monomyth. Different cultures mixing different ideas and all being based off the same sort of thing, but that definitely doesn't look anything other than Celtic to me. I do like this room. I think it's exceptionally built. It is very sort of throwback to Barkang Monastery with the giant Buddha statue. The design behind the Buddha looking very similar to the map underneath the diocese. And the designs are just so intricate. And they look cool. Twin serpent, double dragon, again and again, double dragons. Obviously there's a lot of snake imagery throughout Underworld as well, with the Jormungandr, giant serpent, again. They do like their serpent imagery throughout this trilogy. Duology, sequel. I don't really think we can count Anniversary in terms of snake imagery. Maybe Natlo is the snake all along. And then obviously we have the dais itself. Again with the map network thing on the floor. I do like the dais themselves, they're really cool. Unsure about what the imagery is on it. Can't really piece together what that's supposed to be, other than the questionably shaped rocks. Very cool room, really cool. And look at the designs on the roof, like they're pristine. They kept so well. I guess, I don't know, low temperatures or something, low light, low temperature. Very, very pretty. Extremely ornate. There's supposed to be a body in here, wasn't there? I vaguely remember in some cutscene or another there's like a body lying on the floor and then it's not in the game and it's like... There was all sorts of theories. I remember there was all sorts of theories about that in the past. Like, oh, who are those bodies? They come back from a different time. Is it the body of Richard? So this final area is really, really awesome. I mean, obviously it's another one of those boss arena places, convenient. But the designs all the way around it are just awesome. So you have these huge skulls, flanked by double serpents again. But the waterfalls, oh my god, look at the waterfalls, just absolutely beautiful. Really beautiful. Now these are the things that I was reminded of in Takamoto's boss room. Obviously it's very different. Never noticed before, the water is going the wrong way. That water is falling upwards. I'm not sure if that's intentional. Could someone else check their game? Just in case mine has gone weird. Exactly the same as the one in Nepal. I like how sort of shiny it is as well. Kind of reminds me, I don't know if anyone's played Morrowind. You'd be able to get like blades made of glass and they were like green, shiny glass. It's kind of what I'm reminded of when I look at that. Yeah, this is really cool. I love there's also these little corridors and they go nowhere in particular. Although it looks like they've been explored because they have these the ropes coming down. And of course we have to mention the Natla boxes, which I think at that time were just a tribute to the original, like a little Easter egg. I don't know, I just don't think they'd planned to make the anniversary game. And then I think everything happened and Core's anniversary and everything, and then they were like, oh, yep, we have to make this. But then they had Natla in, and then, I don't know, I just... Absolutely nothing to back that up. I just have a feeling that this retrospectively worked out as foreshadowing rather than just an Easter egg. But yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous final area. I love the mist far below as well. Yeah. One of the coolest boss fight, actually yeah, one of the coolest boss fights, as well as boss fight areas in Tomb Raider, I think. Very, very cool. Done. That is Tomb Raider Legend. Thank you for joining me on this little journey into the past. I really like being able to get really up close to all the little details in the game, and I hope you've really enjoyed this one as well. It's a game, as I'm sure you've noticed throughout this video, I have many gripes about, and I would hope that it's evident that I have softened slightly over the years in my rage against this game. There are many decent things about it. There are many, many decent things about it. It is fast-paced and fun and action-packed, and I completely understand why people do love it. 100%, completely. I think if I had to pinpoint one thing about the game that I genuinely love, I think it would be the concept of the portals. I think the premise of the story with the portals and the swords and the stones, and how they're sort of linked not only through different places around the world, but also to the past and to the future, and there's a whole time thing going on. I absolutely love that, and I think that fits perfectly and beautifully within the Tomb Raider world. And there was a lot of things that I don't think I've ever noticed before, especially in terms of the little details. Like, I had no idea that that twin serpent imagery was so rife throughout the entire game. So I would like to know, what are your favourite things about the game? I just feel like it's time to look at the positives. So yeah, let me know. Let's chat about it. Make me like it more.